Xbox 360 is one of my favorite systems of all time. Awesome. So through the years, there's been a lot of great video game systems that have been released, and some of these systems have had amazing game libraries, and I'm really thrilled to be going over with you guys the top 25 best-selling video game systems of all time. Guys, let me know in the comment section below what some of your favorite game systems are and what some of your favorite games for those systems are. Unfortunately, systems like the Neo Geo Home system and also the Neo Geo Pocket are not on this list. And also, what really pains me, one of my favorite game systems of all time, the TurboGrafx-16, is not on this list. This is one of my favorite systems of all time. I've got all the systems that I own that are in this list, and let's go ahead and get started. In at number 25, we have the Sega Dreamcast. And the Dreamcast, man, it's such a great looking system. Unfortunately, it really wasn't on sale for that long, but it was, had a short kind of life. It had a really great library of games, and with that great library of games, you've got this really beautiful looking system. I know there's a lot of different variants, and also depending on where you lived in the world, but a great little system. Unfortunately, it was not available that long for sale at retail shelves, but worldwide, the Sega Dreamcast sold 9,130,000 systems. And in number 24, we have the Sega Saturn, and the Sega Saturn has sold worldwide 9,260,000 systems. Some of you guys might be thinking, Jimmy, how is it possible for the Sega Saturn to sell more than the Dreamcast? Well, the Sega Saturn, honestly, it was out a lot longer on retail shelves when compared with the Dreamcast. There's a lot of great games I've wanted to pick up and play for it, like Guardian Heroes and also Magic Knight Ray Earth, Legend of Oasis, Dark Savior, of course Panzer Dragoon Saga is one that I've always really wanted to pick up. I'm hoping in the near future to get a Sega Saturn. Not too long ago, someone sent me a copy of Clockwork Knight, and yeah, really excited. Hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to start collecting for that system because there's a lot of great games for this Sega Saturn. In number 23, we have the Sega Game Gear, another Sega system and handheld system. The Sega Game Gear worldwide has sold 10,620,000 systems. And I remember growing up, I had a Sega Game Gear. I absolutely loved Game Gear. I loved it so much. And I remember one time I went on a road trip and I was like, and it was a long road trip. It was like 14, 15 hours long. And I'm like, I've got my Game Gear, I've got a bunch of batteries. And honestly, I was on that road trip for maybe like an hour. And I'm like, and all the batteries were dead. I mean, that thing went through batteries so quickly. I had Mortal Kombat, I had Sonic 2. I was ready for that road trip. But unfortunately, the batteries did not last. Handheld game systems today are much better than they were back in the day. In number 22, we have the Nintendo Wii U, and the Wii U worldwide has sold 13,560,000 systems. I really enjoyed, when I had my Wii U, I really enjoyed it. And a lot of games that were on it, like the Mario Kart 8, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and also Bayonetta 2. All those games you can also now get on the Switch, but I really enjoyed the Wii U when I had it. Hopefully I'll be able to pick one up again soon. In at number 21, we have the PlayStation Vita, and honestly guys, this is an amazing system. I really love the Vita, and it's unfortunate that, Sony kind of stopped supporting it or kind of discouraged it to continue on, no real marketing for it. But the Vita worldwide has sold 16,030,000 systems. Really, it'll be interesting to see in the future if Sony makes a new handheld system. We'll have to wait and see on that. And at number 20, we have the Nintendo Switch. And not too long ago, it was announced how the Nintendo Switch sold 20 million systems worldwide. The Nintendo Switch is killing it. It's only been out for a year and a half. It's got a great library of games, a great library of exclusives. I'm hoping to get another Switch in the near future because there's some great games for it. Okay, in at number 19, we have the Nintendo GameCube, and I love this little system. I love it so much. I really enjoy Zelda Wind Waker, Beautiful Joe, And you got Super Mario Sunshine. There's a lot of great games for the GameCube. It's definitely not one of the best-selling Nintendo systems, but I think it's a cool little, it's a cube, and it's, of course, I don't know, I really like the GameCube. Of course, when Resident Evil 4 launched, it launched exclusively at the time on the GameCube. And the Nintendo GameCube worldwide has sold 21,740,000 systems. Very, very impressive. In number 18, we have the original Xbox. And this is another system I really enjoyed when I had it. I really enjoyed Jade Empire and Ninja Gaiden Black, and of course the Halo games. The original Xbox worldwide has sold 24,640,000 systems. Very, very impressive. In number 17, we have the Atari 2600, and the 2600, we did a lot of research, and apparently the 2600 has sold 30 million systems. That was my first gaming system that I ever got, and back then my friend had it, and he ended up, I think he got the NES, and I at the time could not get the NES, and he gave me a huge deal on the 2600 with like all his games. I think it was like around 40 games. He gave me the system and all the games for like way less than what the NES was. But that was my first game system, the Atari 2600. In number 16, we have the Sega Genesis, and man, I love this system so much. Revenge of Shinobi, Streets of Rage 2, Landstalker, Phantasy Star Games, Vector Man, the list goes on and on. A great system. The Sega Genesis worldwide, of course the Sonic games, Sega Genesis worldwide sold 30,750,000 systems. In number 15, we have the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 worldwide has sold 32,930,000 systems. In number 14, we have the Xbox One, which we've got here. I've got the first model, not the Slim. This thing is heavy, dude. This thing is a beast. But there's a lot of great games for the Xbox One, and I do like the feature, which not a lot of gamers play, but I do, where you can play it on the Xbox One, but also play it on your PC. Games like Forza Horizon 3, one of the best racing games of all time, and also Gears of War 4, which is a very fun third-person shooter. The Xbox One has sold worldwide 39 million systems. In number 13, we have the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo, certainly one of my favorite systems of all time. You've got ActRaiser, you've got Super Mario World, you've got The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Actually, one of the games that I really enjoyed, which is people are like, what? But Mickey's Magical Quest is one of the best platformers on that system. You got F-Zero, you've got Star Fox, the list goes on and on. You got Castlevania 4, Super Metroid, lots of great games on the Super Nintendo that you can't, at the time, you could not find anywhere else. In at number 12, we've got the NES. And it was funny, like, I'd played the Atari 2600 a lot of different places, and that had like a joystick controller. In the arcades, you had the joystick, but I'll never forget when I first saw the gamepad on the NES, and I was like, what is that? It didn't take long though for me to get into the NES and the gamepad. The NES, holy cow, of course, Super Mario Brothers 3. And why am I drawing a blank? Because there's so many great things for it. Mega Man 2, the Legend of Zelda, Castlevania, and a game that a lot of people maybe don't really like, but I liked in the arcades and on the NES, Kid Nicky. NES is a great little system that I enjoy. And the NES worldwide has sold 61,910,000 systems. And at number 11, we have the 3DS. 3DS, this is an awesome little system. Lots of great games for it. 3DS worldwide has sold 72,890,000 systems. In at number 10, we have the Game Boy Advance, and the Game Boy Advance worldwide has sold 81,510,000 systems. Game Boy Advance, a great little, once they did the Game Boy Advance SP with that backlit screen, oh my gosh, so amazing. I mean, that's a system that looked so great. It had like a little clamshell for when it had the black backlit screen. Really enjoyed it. In at number 9, we have the PSP. Awesome handheld. I took this one with me. I went to Game On Expo and I took this with me. Had such a blast at the airport and on the airplane. The PSP is a sweet little system, and worldwide the PSP has sold 82 million systems, which is amazing. In number 8, we have the PS4. PS4 worldwide has sold 83 million systems, just 1 million more than the PSP. And the PS4, okay, you got Horizon Zero Dawn, you've got God of War, you got Spider-Man coming out. Of course, you've got The Last of Us Remastered, you've got The Last of Us 2 coming out, hopefully sooner than later. Love the PS4, so many great memories on it so far. So next up we have, in at number 7, we have so in at number 8 was the PS4, in at number 7 we've got the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 worldwide has sold 85 million systems. This is one of my favorite systems of all time. It got me introduced to the Gears of War games, and there was actually a lot of decent exclusives on it. Lots of timed exclusives, but man, I love the Xbox 360 so much. I really, really like it. It's one of my favorite controllers, so maybe is my favorite controller for the Xbox 360 one. Really, really enjoy that system. In at number 6 is a system that went head-to-head, toe-to-toe with the 360 for quite a long time, and that is the PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 worldwide has sold 86,900,000 systems, and this is another system that had such an incredible library. I really enjoyed both of the Infamous games. I had a lot of fun with the Resistance games, and a game that I played so much in terms of multiplayer was Bad Company 2. I love Bad Company 2, and also Killzone 3. I spent so many hours online with those two games. Just, man, PS3, Xbox 360, a lot of great memories. Okay, in at number, so that was number 6 for the PS3. In number 5 is the Nintendo Wii, and the Nintendo Wii worldwide has sold 101,630,000 systems. So 101,630,000 systems. Of course, the Wii had a lot of shovelware games, but it had a lot of great games and experiences as well. Of course, the Mario Galaxy games are games that I really, really enjoyed. Great system. In number 4, we have the PlayStation 1, and this is what started it all. The PlayStation 1 worldwide sold 102,490,000 systems. Of course, Final Fantasy games left a huge footprint on that system. You have the Crash Bandicoot games. You've got Spyro, which Spyro is going to be getting the remastered treatment, or they're going to be doing Spyro available for everyone soon. Lots of great RPGs on the PS1, but there's also there was something for everyone on the PS1. You had the Tekken games. You had lots of different and crazy sports games on the PS1. Such a great system. So in at number 3 is the Game Boy. I've got here actually a Game Boy Color, but the original Game Boy, man, sold very, very well, and the original Game Boy worldwide sold 118,690,000 systems. A quick story about the original Game Boy. I remember one day at school, a friend of mine had the Game Boy, he was playing with it. I had no idea what that thing was. I for some reason, I'd never heard about it until I saw it in person. And I was like, dude, how much did that cost? I want one of those, because I was just such a fan of games. And he said, I don't know, my parents got it for me. So I remember calling the mall, a game store at the mall, or an electronics store at the mall, and they had the Game Boy there for sale. And the guy behind the counter did not know what he's talking about, because he said, oh yeah, the Game Boy, yeah, those are only $20. And I was like, $20? Holy cow. So I ended up calling up. My parents weren't available to take me that night to go, so my grandmother actually, she had time, so she took me to the mall. I remember driving with my grandmother, and she was excited for me because I had $20 saved up. And we were talking about and before you know it, it's going to be year 2000. And it was years before year 2000 was coming. We were talking about that, but I remember getting to this electronics store, game store, And I'm like, oh, I'd like a Game Boy. He brings it, and it was like $80 or $90, like way more than what I was told from the person who talked to me on the phone earlier that day. So when my grandmother saw that price, she's like, well, I guess you're not getting one of those today. And even though that day I did not get a Game Boy, I kind of had that memory, because my grandmother several years ago, she passed away. I've got that memory, you know, with my grandmother going out to go get a Game Boy, even though I didn't get a Game Boy. So kind of neat. Game Boy worldwide has sold 118,690,000 systems. Okay, in number 2 we have the Nintendo DS, and holy cow, the DS worldwide has sold 154,900,000 systems. The DS, so very impressive. A huge library of games. Of course, there's first the DS, then the DS Lite. I love the DS Lite because it had that backlit screen and the games look gorgeous on it. Such a great system. In at number 1, we've got the, let's see here, bring that out. Got the PlayStation 2. Got the slim one, the PS2, and oh my gosh. Arguably, some people would say, and it's definitely one of the best library of games. And some would say that the PS2 has the best library of games as a whole. Huge library on the PS2. And the PS2 worldwide has sold 157,680,000 systems, which is nuts, which is crazy. And for a time in Japan, the best-selling DVD player was the PS2, because then they're like, hey man, I could just get a system, or I could get a DVD player. I get a PS2, I can play games and I can play movies, which is awesome. So anyway, guys, there are the top 25 best-selling video game systems in the world. Let me know, guys, some of your favorite systems and some of your favorite games for those systems. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you later.